Here with John Bundy, who's from Virginia and is starting kind of a sort of a WeWork competitor. Is that right, John?
Well, yeah, since there's no WeWork in our area, there's no
Why
competition.
is there no
So,
WeWork in Virginia?
well, Virginia, I'm not certain. They're just learning what collaboration spaces are. There are many popping up in random areas, but closer to the cities, Norfolk, Richmond, Virginia. We live in between those two cities,
So you're basically saying
Yorktown,
like,
Williamsburg.
so I'm sorry to interrupt. I,
No
I apologize.
worries.
Uh, Sometimes in like maybe there's a WeWorks in major cities, but you're suggesting that hey, entrepreneurs who are kind of in more suburban areas, they need a place to go as well, and
Yeah,
WeWorks haven't been focusing. WeWork itself has not been focusing
right.
on those areas, and there might be opportunity there.
There is. There is. Like me, I was doing my graphic art and design in my bedroom at the desk with the computer, with the bed right next to it, with the pile of laundry and the kids and the cats and the dogs, not getting anything
That
done.
wasn't your most productive area?
No, it wasn't. And then I said, well, how about I go to the coffee shop? So I go to the coffee shop, and sometimes there was a table, sometimes there wasn't. Couldn't meet with clients. Sometimes it's loud. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to take all my computer equipment with me. So it was very, very not working out. So when I stumbled across what is called Gather in Richmond, very much like a WeWork or a Spur up here, I fell in love. I was like, where has this been all my life? And I said, I have to open one of these near where I live. One of them
Well, how
opened
far was the Gather place?
from where I live. The Gather is probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an
Okay,
hour,
so that's
depending on
too long
traffic. Too
for
long.
a
And then the
collaborative.
other way, there's another one in Virginia Beach called 1701 VB, and that's an hour, 45 minutes in the other
I mean,
direction
people
too.
don't realize how correlated length of commute is with happiness.
Yeah,
And you want to be in a place where there's other people, other like-minded people, but to drive an hour there, because being around like-minded people who are entrepreneurial and give you ideas and you feed off of each other ideas, that leads to happiness. But if you have to commute an hour to get there, it
right,
kind of takes
right,
away
right,
the
right.
point. But is there enough people in kind of more suburban, even I don't know if you're suburban or semi-rural or what?
So I'd say suburban,
Mhm.
growing area. Yorktown, Virginia is the birthplace of our nation. Yorktown is where Cornwallis surrendered to George Washington. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Pocahontas in Gloucester, right across the river. That history. So it's that colonial kind of feel to it a lot of times, and the kind of small town stuff. But it's starting to grow, and of course, you have the youth growing up. What do I want to do? Well, entrepreneur is like the big thing these days. So I
It's
want to
like
be
the
an
only thing,
entrepreneur. It
right? Because
is right.
what else is there for kids right now? And I'm not being
Really, no.
pessimistic,
No,
but
I believe that my daughter, she's 14 years old, I believe she's gonna be making six figures because before she leaves high school because of what she's doing right now with YouTube and Facebook.
so you mentioned to me before the podcast started, she's started to be she wanted to get into YouTubing,
Right,
being a YouTuber,
right.
and you because you had a solo graphic design business, you
Yeah,
made the logo, you helped her produce, direct, edit
right.
her YouTube thing.
Yeah, everything.
How many videos has she done?
I don't know. I don't know. Really, we haven't been looking at the analytics. And the numbers of followers. We really just been focusing on what I think success is, and that's happiness. So, are you happy doing what you're doing? Fantastic. You just do it.
That's great.
So I'm kind of rolling with that same philosophy as I'm doing what I'm doing, and it helps me because when I feel like giving up, but I'm still having fun doing what I'm doing, well, I'm just going to keep doing it. So
And so where did you make the leap from helping her as a YouTuber to you're all working now in your home, you and your 14-year-old
well,
daughter.
yeah,
Eh,
started there. Now we're actually members of a local collaboration space. Somebody opened one before I did, right a mile from my house. So I said, obviously, I have to be. So I'm a founding member at Collaboration Space at Hampton Roads.
okay.
And while I'm there, through my connections, through the community of these, it becomes a community. Your family is there. You're bouncing ideas off each other. You're working together. You're loving each other.
Does that happen naturally? I've never worked in
Yes.
a collaborative space. Like, do you
Well,
sort of lean over the cubicle next to you and say, "Hey, how's it going?"
I do.
Uh-huh.
I do. I mean, but I've worked in places where you're working close to people and you don't get to know them because no one's talking. They don't like what they're doing. But when
Right.
you're around people that love what they're doing and want to share it, then that happens. So that's what's happening. And I guess I'm helping it a little bit because I bring a certain energy with me, and I want to know people. I want to know your story. So I ask a lot of questions, and then people go, "Oh, I like this Johnny listens to me." So I just keep doing that.
So you were in a collab space, and you were a founding member of it. What made you decide to form your own collaboration space company?
Wow. I want to quote a friend of mine. Her name is Marilyn Crump. She said the other day on my podcast, she said that when you're pursuing your goals and your dreams, eventually your goals and your dreams start pursuing you. And that's what's happening to me recently. So I had this dream. I'm here. I'm supporting other people. I'm just doing my thing, helping people, having fun, trying to make a living. And someone that I work with that owns several collaboration spaces around the area in different spots, one close to Richmond and a few other spaces. Her name is Courtney Bazell Riley. She owns a marketing company called Proximo. She calls me knowing that this is my dream, and she said somebody is trying to give me a collaboration space. Give it to her because he wants to keep the space, but he's working someplace else. So he knew what I was doing and wants to, see if I wanted to make it into a collaboration space.
Okay, so he called her
Called her.
and he said, "I have a collaboration space." What does that mean? Did he just have a warehouse
He,
with tables in it?
no, he has a fully furnished third floor, top floor of a building in Williamsburg. It's the top floor of a bank, Wells Fargo Bank, and 3,000 square foot, already furnished because he's using it as a business incubator. But he's moving his base of operation to Richmond, which is 45 minutes
So he
away.
was renting it.
Renting it, and he wants to keep the lease. He wants to keep it.
How long's the lease?
The lease, I think, is for another 2 years, and then if they wanna extend it, they can. At that point, we'll have to make a decision, but currently, I'm knocking down walls, tearing up carpet, putting down floor, and building private offices in there.
And but he already had a business incubator space. Why did you have to do so much architecturally?
Well, it wasn't open. It wasn't exactly the dream that I had for a collaboration space. I imagined this open, almost a large living room.
But, there's a lot of, like, Chiat Day, the ad agency that, I believe they were involved in the 1984 Apple ad, but they were the first in New York in the '90s to kind of create this open environment, thinking it would lead to greater creativity, and it really didn't.
Mm,
Like, they were totally open, and, people didn't have a set
right,
people would kind of check their laptops or computers into a locker, pull it out in the morning, and then
right.
sit wherever they wanted, and there'd be bean bags and desks and
Sure,
the whole thing. So it was, like, totally open, there was no fixed spot that anyone belonged, and it ended up being a little bit stressful for people somehow. It
sure,
wasn't as the creative, juices weren't as free flowing as
sure.
Jay Chiat thought it would be.
Right. Well, so he had a completely open area.
Right.
We also have private offices. So when you get out of juice out there in that space, you have the option of having your own private office. So you go in there, you close the door. You have your opportunity to be by yourself, get your work done. And then when you need some more inspiration, you go back out into the space. And then there are some folks that, and it's right near a college, the College of William and Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia. There are some folks that love to work like that all day long. They get their energy off of people.
So
So we have space for everyone.
so it's interesting, potentially students who want like, student entrepreneurs or professor entrepreneurs, they could then get off campus and
Yes.
have, like, do you find that to be your customer base?
Well, we're just starting, but we
It could
we
be like the
are
Domino's Pizza of WeWorks.
absolutely. It's like the gym membership for your business. You go ahead and you buy your level. It's 24-hour access. You come and you use your app on your smartphone, and it opens the door. And you go in there and you do business.
So can I just, like, uh, bullet shoot some ideas,
Absolutely.
at you? Because
Yeah,
this is what I
please.
would be curious about. So, one of the benefits is WeWork is I could join WeWork here, but then when I'm in Denver, I can go to my WeWork office
Yeah.
in Denver or
Yeah.
whatever. I could travel around
Right.
because there's so many WeWorks. Obviously, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna rent 1,000 places all
No,
over the
we
country.
have though, James. I'm sorry to cut
Alright,
you
then
off.
no, no, that's
No,
great. Go.
Proximity is the network we use for billing, our check-in, all that stuff.
So Proximity is kind of back-end
Proximity.
software to allow a
Absolutely.
collaboration space to
Yeah.
exist. So you
And when I go
outsource.
visit another state,
Mhm.
I say, "Where's the nearest proximity, workspace near me?" And I can just slide right on in there and do my work.
So anybody who has a membership in yours is part of the Proximity
Yes.
network. So
Yeah.
Proximity kind of is not only supplying the back end software, they're providing kind of the back end for collaboration. So people don't even know.
Right.
Like if somebody joins you, they don't even realize when they're going. They can go, or I mean, they do realize, but
Right.
essentially, it's as if they're signing up for your big network.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah.
Seems like proximity actually has the value. I'm again just
Sure.
pushing back because
Sure.
like that's great for them
Mhm.
to not have like the problem rework has is they have to keep track of all these rental agreements
Right.
or ownership or they have to buy space. Proximity by just providing software and doing this collaboration
Right.
agreements with everyone, they don't have to their only assets are scalable because it's digital
Right.
and they provide this kind of collaboration between many mom and pop
Right.
WeWorks like or I shouldn't call them
Kinda like
WeWorks.
what, an Airbnb?
Hmm,
Kinda
yeah,
like an Airbnb
kinda
for
like
your
an
business
Airbnb.
office. Sure.
And then is there proximity must have like a platform where oh, I'm in Denver. What's the nearest?
Absolutely, yeah, right
So,
on your phone. They got an app for that.
I mean, it would be good if they
Mhm.
could also white label it so it all seems like your network, at least from the point of view of your
Right, well, like,
users.
my logo is when you go on there to Ignition Workspace, we're like I said, it's so new, we're actually just starting to do the demo on the building for what we need to do. My logo is at the top, so when you go on the Proximity app for Ignition Workspace, there's the logo, so
Got
it
it.
looks like it's mine.
So how do you build again, like, I love the space. We've used WeWorks, actually to do or WeWork we used to do podcasts,
Okay,
and I know part of my company at different times has been members of WeWork, but I never used an office space there.
right.
But so I love the space. I like what Proximity is doing. That seems like
Sure.
a $1 billion company
Mhm.
in the making. How
Right.
do you scale your business?
Well, so, which one?
The
So,
the
the
ignition
Ignition Workspace, well, I just find more buildings. I find more spaces I think that are conducive for what we do, and
But
the
you have to have
interesting
capital, like,
You
to
sure
do
you
the
do,
rent.
yeah. Well, the interesting thing so far is, I have investors. I haven't had any out of pocket for this venture. I'm sure I will in the future, but it's been my energy, my personality, and my love, the heart that I have for this community, so people believe in me, just
But
like
a lot of people saw the success of WeWork and they started kind of WeWork Me Too's.
Right.
Um, Not WeWork hashtag Me Too's,
Right,
but
right, right.
you know,
I see what you're saying.
but how did you get investors? How do you distinguish yourself from WeWork?
Well, first of all, we don't have a WeWork near us.
Right. So you could basically say there's a need for a suburban
There's a need f
WeWork.
or there's a need for a collaboration space and try and explain that to people because
It,
folks don't near us don't even know what a WeWork is. They don't know what a collaboration space is. So when we explain to them, "Hey, here's the problem. It is you're not getting much done in your house. You're not getting much done in the coffee shop. What if there was a space?" And then, ta-da, here it is.
right. So if I'm living, like, for instance, in the middle of New Jersey, there's a WeWork on every corner in New York City, but I don't want to go from New Jersey to New York City. In Trenton, New Jersey, I'm just making this up. There
Sure.
might not be, or in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, it's a
Right.
suburb next to Trenton. It's far from New York. It's far
Right.
from everything. There might be a need for WeWork, or a collaborative workspace, but there isn't one because WeWork is not there.
Right.
And so you're saying basically you could scale by going to every kind of, let's say, 10 to 30 miles outside of every top 100 city
Right.
and setting up a collaboration space. And
Absolutely.
your argument is there will be customers for that, and
Absolutely.
WeWork has no interest in competing in that area.
Right.
Why do you think
Because
WeWork
we're
is not?
well, they're thinking dollar signs.
Mhm.
We're thinking community. We're thinking helping these folks that don't even they have a problem that they don't even know they have. They don't know that there's a solution for it or a possible solution for it, and that is the collaboration space. So we just market that way, and the way we market is on social media.
Have you done a second one?
Well, so far, the woman that handed the spot over Courtney that handed the spot over to me, she's got 5,
Mhm.
and they're growing. So
And she's got 5. How far apart are they spaced?
half an hour, 20
Okay.
minutes.
And
Yeah, yeah,
are you, um so you have 1,
correct.
but you're looking to build more, and
Absolutely.
so that's why, so you reached out to investors, friends
Yes,
and
sir.
family, and
Actually, they came to me.
how did they come to you? How did they know about you?
They knew somebody that knew somebody that was, knew that I was, doing this or involved with the collaboration space, and they were interested.
And just talking about deal structure, like, how much money did you raise? What was the valuation?
Well, the money's being raised. It's kind of piecework.
Mhm.
It's like, how much do you need right now, kind of thing. And then,
And but how do you structure that? Like, is there a valuation that they're buying into?
I'm so new to this. I don't even know what valuation is. So
Okay, so you
explain that
say
to me.
like, let's say you say you're worth $2 million. I'm just making up a number.
Okay,
Let's say you're worth
gotcha.
$10 million. Okay, I'll make up a number,
Right.
and you raise 5 million. That means now the value of your company is 15 million. It's
Gotcha.
the 10 plus the 5 million in cash you raised. Now you have a 15 million valuation. The 5 million bought a third of the company.
Gotcha.
So if you're at 3 million and you raise 1 million, now your valuation's 4 million. The million bought 25. One
Right.
out of four bought 25% of the company.
Right. Well, currently what I've got is folks that are interested in either me or what I'm doing or both. And they're giving me money and they want a return on their investment.
How are you structuring the return?
So, 15 to 20% depending. And I think sometimes, it's how involved do they want to be? Do they just want a return on their investment or do they want to be a part of what we're doing?
15 to 20% a year.
Yes. Oh, no, 15, 20% of what they invested.
So like in their ultimate return on investment, like
Yeah,
5 years from
yeah,
now?
and then they can reinvest.
Okay, so
And I don't know
uh,
where it goes from there. I'm learning that as
yeah,
we
yeah, I
go.
think
I'm gathering a lot of stuff right now,
yeah, it
so
seems like deal structure, and I don't know why I honed in on this, but
it's to help me, I'm
yeah,
sure.
deal structure is very important because
Okay,
5 years from now, let's say it's 7 years from now, which is the average length of a private investment.
okay,
Uh, 7 years from now, only returning 15%, that's 2% a year compounded. So, or a little bit less. It's like 1.5% a
so
year
we're talking
compounded.
more valuable would be the annual
Well, yeah, but
return
then
or
15% annually is not is too much. Like
okay, I
that's
got
I
you.
don't know how you would return that. Um, Potentially what you can say is what they're doing is buying there's a couple ways you could structure this. Let's say you have a place that could fit 20 different people,
Right.
and they're all paying $1,000 a month. I'm just making
Sure.
a number up.
Sure, go for
Okay.
it. Yeah.
You could say, hey, for you need to raise $200,000. Everybody will pro rata get 15% of everyone's rent. And so before you even touch it as revenues or profits, it goes right out to someone pays rent, 15% of it goes out pro rata to everybody
Gotcha.
who put in the $200,000.
Gotcha,
That's one
gotcha. Okay.
way to structure it. The other way to structure it is they get a piece of your company, no yield. They get
Right.
for you,
They
you
become
sell
what,
off
a
10% of your
shareholder
company.
or something like that?
Yeah,
Is
they
that
become a shareholder of
okay.
your company. And so those are two ways to potentially structure.
Right.
Another way is they could structure it per place, like it's a different company per space.
Okay.
Uh, you know, the challenge WeWork has had, or it hasn't been a challenge yet, but it will be, is that I think at one level, WeWork is nothing more than just a bunch of office rentals,
Right.
and because they've kind of um, intrigued the sort of tech entrepreneur world, their
Right.
valuation is much higher than if I just rented a bunch of places and then
Sure.
rented it
Well,
out to
we
my
offer
friends.
more than that. We're offering more than just space.
Mhm.
The part of the value we offer is a board that of advisors that folks who get a membership also have access to other people who have been in business longer, who are in different industries that are a member of the board. And with their membership, they have access to 30-minute meetings twice a month
And so every
with these
place that you
folks.
start up, will you try to find advisors?
Absolutely. Yes.
So okay, that's valuable. What other thing can you add to kind of differentiate?
Well, free coffee
Mhm.
by local roasters. We're trying to bring other businesses. The beauty about the collaboration is the community. So we have local roasters. So each whichever they're closest to, and um, so for example, King of Clubs. A friend of mine, Lance, owns that King of Clubs coffee. So he provides the coffee for the spot with his name's on stuff. His
So,
cards are there, and so he gets business that way.
like in your current space that you're building out, how many people can fit there?
We have the availability of 9 private offices, and then, of course, a membership when it comes to the dedicated desks and just coming in and renting a desk or grabbing a beanbag chair or whatever,
So
up
altogether,
to
how
like
many people can be
150, probably, I probably altogether 150
in
people.
the space at one time?
Well, no, in and out, kinda like a gym membership. Everybody that has a gym membership doesn't go at the same time, so
Right.
kinda like that,
So
yeah.
you think in this current space, let's say you could fit, 9 people times 3 is 20, so let's say 30 people, but you could sell 5 times that. Is that the right ratio? Like however
Pretty
many people you
much,
could
yeah,
fit,
that's what I'm thinking.
like WeWork, do you know what their ratio is?
I do not.
So you should find out what their
Right.
ratio
I guess it
is.
depends on the size of the building, right? I mean, it really does, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
are you
but
talking about each individual WeWork or
or
the
or then there's some mom and pop places too, and I say mom and pop, but like Damon John, Star what's it called? Blue something? Steve? I think like Blue Ignition, I wanna say. But anyway, you should check while you're in New York
right.
City, check
Will do.
out there's a lot of one-off, uh, collaboration spaces because you might even wanna, like, but it sounds like you partner through proximity. But I would spend some time in some one-off collaboration
Sure.
spaces in New York and then try to determine their memberships. You can even ask them because they should tell you because then you get that as a customer, you're assessing the risk that the place could be too crowded. Ask them what the ratio of
Right.
members per how many people can fit in the space.
Sure, sure, sure.
But Damon Johns would be a good one to stop in on. What is it, Steve? We've only talked to him about it 20 times. The
The
Blueprint.
blueprint,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, check
Sounds
it out.
good.
I will go
Will
there.
do. Absolutely.
And when do you think you're gonna have space number 2?
I think it's gonna be really, really fast, faster than I probably, can handle it, but
So
I'm gonna go for it.
so the other thing I would
'Cause I'm already
consider.
eyeballing buildings. There's one over in Gloucester, which is about, 30 minutes from Williamsburg, and, let's see, there's actually another one in Williamsburg that would be great. It's run by the city right now, it's getting ready to close down. It was an incubator, and it shouldn't close down, but the thing is they put stipulations on it, like, you have to be new in business, less than 3 years,
All
and
right, that's
after
good
you're
for,
done, you have to have a brick and mortar.
so
So, it was
so
one of those things where folks were just like, it wasn't working for them because they don't want a brick and mortar, they just wanna,
you know what I would also offer is coaching. So a lot
yeah,
of, businesses need coaching, and then you could bring in coaches, but split the deal 50-50 with the
right.
coaches. So if the
Well,
coach.
absolutely. For example, one of the ladies that supported me in coming here, Shelly Smith, she owns Premier Report. She is a, business coach and mentor, and she will be coming in as one of the advisors. She'll be coming in and
But I'm
offering
almost
her
thinking like you should,
services.
like, the company itself should offer coaching services, maybe with someone like that who signs up to be on your roster of coaches,
Sure.
and then you do the charging and take a fee. Maybe it's
Value,
20%.
value, value.
Yeah. And
We
so
just
you
add
offer more
value.
services and you
Yeah.
kind of take money from each service that you
Right.
offer. You
And
could even offer logo design services through your,
right, and then
business.
the humorous video ads for social media, which my daughter and I do, and we do offer that. A lot of our clients want that for their
Sure.
Facebook and their
It's
YouTube and
almost
all
like a
that stuff.
little ad agency
Absolutely,
for that,
yeah.
that are perfect for
My
like Gen
daughter's
Z,
building
or
ClickFunnels right now,
that
so
that's
she's doing
amazing.
it. Yeah, so it's
And
she's
how old is she
crushing it,
now?
man. She's 14.
That's amazing. She
Yeah,
is gonna
got her
be
own
she should
podcast.
not
Got
go
her
to
own.
college, by
No,
the
she's
way.
not. She would make less money if she went to college.
Oh, of course, and she's gonna learn so much more
Yeah,
doing this, and she's gonna
she
make more
is.
friends, she's gonna
Yeah,
learn more skills, she's gonna have
absolutely.
more fun than, like, studying, something she hates in
Yes.
college for 4 years and getting
Yeah.
into huge student loan
Right,
debt.
and then maybe not ever getting a job in her field, most likely not ever getting a job in her field, so
This is exciting, I'm really excited for you, you
thanks,
seem
man.
super happy.
Yeah,
I would just check whenever you can, you're in a city like New York,
yeah,
there's 1,000 collaborative workspaces
right.
other than WeWork. You should be checking them out when you're
Will
not in
be,
these
absolutely, I'm
podcasts.
gonna make it a job of mine.
Yeah, yeah, because one thing I remember in Sam Walton's autobiography, I think it was his autobiography, or some book about Walmart, every city he went to, he would check out, all the other stores.
Right,
And there was one time, I forgot, he was with his CFO, and they're checking out some place, and the CFO was done, just waiting outside. Like, I don't know, some inordinate amount of time later, Sam Walton comes out, and he was like, "Did you see how they, had the, women's, underwear? Like, it was so organized and so neat." Like, he was looking at every
right,
single
right,
detail and
right.
studying it, and that's
That's
how.
how I am when I go to the collaboration spaces, and that the reason why I designed the one that we're in right now is because I saw what didn't work and what I didn't like about other collaboration spaces, and then what I did like,
Well,
and I put them together.
I would even blog about that, what you
Mm,
like in a like, make
yeah,
yourself a voice in the industry. So, because 'cause I'm
great.
sure there's conferences in the industry, and you could talk about the suburban collaborative workspace,
Right.
how to offer
Yeah,
value add
man.
to beat WeWork. And then the other thing is, I was thinking is, there are a lot of places that aren't available 24 hours a day, but are available 12 hours a day.
Right.
So, like, for instance.
We have that membership. We have a membership that's only available, like, 9 to 5, and then we also have the 365,
Right. So think about,
24/7.
we're sitting right now in a stand-up comedy club,
Right.
right? This place is empty from 9 in the morning till
Yeah.
5 in the afternoon. It's totally empty.
Right.
It seats 120 people downstairs, and there's tables and there's
Right.
chairs. You could imagine this could be. I'm not saying we want to do this. This is
Right,
not
right.
on our agenda, but you can
Right.
imagine a lot of everybody is trying to, with the rise of online retail. Everybody's trying to figure out what to do with space.
Yeah.
Many, during the night, during the day, whatever. Potentially, you could go to places like restaurants or clubs or comedy clubs or bars and say, "Hey, I could turn for a fee. I could turn your place into a collaboration workspace, and then I can help you run it."
Yeah.
And that's another way you could expand. That's another
Absolutely.
potential
Another
idea.
thing, and I thought about this a while back, and that is the sad case of churches that are open on Sunday and Wednesday nights. That
Absolutely.
entire building is empty. It is another spot where we can do things.
Right, so potentially I mean, you have trouble fitting in, like, people who are typing on laptops, so maybe they can move over. Everything is like a Lego set, like, they
Yeah.
can move over their benches, you could put in tables out of storage, and suddenly you have 20
Right.
offices in a
And our
church.
walls in Ignition, our walls are gonna be, like Legos. Like you can move them and
Right.
make the office whatever size you want.
I like that. So I like this model of enabling space, like creating taking a space that is underusing their value and
Yeah,
creating value in that space by helping them create collaborative workspaces, showing them the business model, showing them the extra numbers they can
right.
make essentially for free.
Yeah.
For anybody to use our space downstairs is free to us because it's just
Right,
empty all
and
day anyway.
if you sublet to them, then you got more revenue, right? More profit coming
Yeah,
in.
and we have a full bar so people could drink all day starting from the
Sure,
minute they get to work.
fantastic, love it, man. One of the, buildings that I see that I have my eyes on, is at a strip mall, but it's standalone, and I imagined a brew pub, a coffee shop, a childcare, and,
Right, because
collaborative
malls
work, so
are great.
everything would be there.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
malls are I mean, there's the decline of the American malls, like a cliche
yeah,
story now, but, like, malls are turning into ghost towns.
yeah, they
Used
are.
to be the center of the community, now they're dying, could be the center of community again, but
Absolutely.
but it's not you renting space in the mall, it's you going to the mall owners and saying, "Hey, I could need" there's a demand, and
Yeah,
you can measure demand
love
somehow,
it.
like take a survey, whatever, you could say, "There's demand. Let's try this out with one of the stores. We'll turn it
Love
into
it.
a collaborative workspace
Yeah,
and see
man.
how it goes, and then we could spread it out
Yeah,
to all
I'm
your
gonna
other
steal
malls."
that, James. I'm
You
gonna
no,
do it.
I want you to steal it.
Yay.
I'm not starting a business. I
Yeah,
just
because
like
those
sitting up
malls are
here.
sad these days. They're
Yeah.
really sad, this empty building.
That I think the model of 1 or 2 or 5 collaborative workspaces is decent. You could build it up. Perhaps a WeWork would buy it. Your exit plan is that a WeWork would buy it,
Right.
but I don't know if it's as scalable as you would like. Let's not forget WeWork to become scalable raised billions and billions of dollars.
Sure.
Like, it was insane. You're not gonna do that. No one
Right.
else is ever gonna do that.
Right.
And, but I think business models that allow for scalability and still allows you to implement your passion, like, again, you could do the 5 workspaces, you'll make a living, it'll be a great business. But this idea of going to empty spaces or companies that having trouble monetizing their space and saying, "Hey, we can execute on this within 3 months, and then within 9 months, here's how much money you'll be making, and it'll
Right.
cost you 0,
Right.
or whatever the fee is to you, or you
Sure.
figure out a deal." I think that's a really great business model
Yeah,
potentially.
man.
So you have 2 business models. One is static and you'll make a living, like how you've been doing with the graphic design business.
Right.
The other is one that could be scalable and could raise a lot of money
Absolutely
and be
love it.
huge.
Yeah, and help a lot of people. The people that I get to meet and be in a community with, is the reason why I do the collaboration space. Now
And then the more people you have using any of these spaces, the more services you could sell into them, like coaching services,
absolutely.
legal services, accounting
Yeah.
services, whatever.
Yeah.
So and you
And then
take a
also
fee.
bartering because currently I'm not very good at, administrative. I'm really good at the creative. I'm really good at meeting with clients and getting the projects done, creative director. But when it comes to admin, I don't. So I work in collaboration with someone who's in my space. So Jennifer Maroney of SOS, she does a virtual assistant. So she's doing my books, she's doing my invoicing
Right.
and
So
all that
she
stuff. And
could
then
be
I do
doing it.
video in exchange for her. So I don't even pay her except for the services we exchange.
Right, so but what you can do with her is for everybody who moves into any of your
Yes, sir.
personal collaboration spaces or the ones you set up for other people, like you set up one in the mall that costs you nothing, but you
Right.
kind of you help them monetize and you charge them and then they're making money, but you could then sell her service in and then take a fee, an affiliate fee
Absolutely.
off of it. So there's lots of different business models to go. I wouldn't just be, "Oh, we're gonna rent space, build it out, rent it," because that's gonna
Right.
be hard work.
Sure.
You wanna scale faster with easier
Yeah.
work, but still keep the vision going, which I think is a good one, the idea of a suburban, um, collaborative workspace, which doesn't exist. So but anyway, John Bundy, how do people find you? What's the name of your
Well, johnrichardbundy.com. My daughter's currently working on that website. The business grew so fast, we didn't have the website yet, so she's in the process of working on that. You can go there, you'll see my face. And Scribe Design One, the number one on Facebook, and then also Morning Fuel podcast on Facebook.
what's Morning Fuel?
Morning Fuel is where it's another value that I offer my clients and friends, business owners, is they come on my show and we talk about why they do what they do.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I would write a blog or a series of blogs or even a book, how to monetize your empty dead space.
Yeah. I
So, and
like
that
it.
applies to malls, churches, comedy clubs, bars,
Right.
convention centers, hotels, hotels at any given point, unless they're full, they probably have thousands of square feet of empty
Right.
space that they can monetize
Right.
into a collaborative workspace. And
Why not?
particularly if it's a hotel chain in the area, they could send people around. Like people could check an app in the morning.
Right.
Anyway, I've just been throwing out
That's
ideas,
great,
but
man. I appreciate
it's
it a lot.
exciting.
That's great.
Steal
Why
all
I'm
of them
here.
and let me know how it goes.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Very
John.
cool. Awesome.